The reason why Trump is doing so well in the polls, and I've tried to explain this in other segments before, but I'll explain it again. The reason why he's doing so well in the polls is that most of these pollsters are not taking into account the right-leaning independent voters. In many states, for instance, I'll give you an example. This new Texas poll that just came out, I believe Trump was at 51%, and in a crowded field, DeSantis was at 19%. Why is the lead so big? Well, if you look at what they've done, that Texas is an open primary state. That means that independents can vote in the Republican primary. What they've done is, if you look at the sample is, I believe, 77% Republicans and 23% independents. Well, we know that independents are a much bigger part of the sample than that. So they are undersampling independents, and independents are where DeSantis has his strength. DeSantis gets those suburban moms or independents. They get a lot of voters that were disaffected from the GOP. Those are the independents. They're the ones that just want stuff to work. They're not the dedicated, hardcore Trump supporters. So this poll, by using that sample, is putting their thumb on the scale for Trump. And that's why Trump has the big advantage. Is Trump leading in Texas? Probably, because he's the known entity. People don't really know DeSantis yet. Long way to go before we get to the Texas primary. But in addition, they're putting the thumb on the scale for Trump. Compare that to the Marquette poll in Wisconsin, where they polled right-leaning independents as well as the GOP. And head-to-head, DeSantis led that poll by 16 points. Folks, it makes a huge difference if you include those right-leaning independents, because DeSantis carries them heavily. Also, in that Marquette poll, you saw a situation where of the undecided voters, DeSantis was carrying 65% of those. So we know that as far as people that are their level of dedication, and this is the problem that we've got with these polls, the pollsters are not calculating right-leaning independents correctly, and they're also not taking a temperature map, okay, of how intense people's commitment to their vote is. They call and they say, who's your first choice for president? A lot of people that don't know DeSantis yet or who they want, they're going to say Trump. That's their first choice. That's their default choice. But they are undecided. They're not committed. We saw that in one pollster has done that twice now. And Trump came in as far as his ride or die committed base around 25% or so. And then about 50% or so were undecided on the bubble. And about 25% were, never Trump under no circumstances. Well, this 50% in the middle, Trump has got 100% name recognition. No, he was president for 4 years. They know exactly who Trump is. If they really wanted Trump, they would be in the Trump column. They'd be in that 25%, but they're not. They're looking around. They're dating around. That's because in their heart of hearts, they really don't want Trump, but they want to make sure they've got a good lifeboat to jump into if they're going to jump away from Trump. They need more information to make that decision. I was in sales for 30 years, and I found that in a sales situation, people say no for one of two reasons. Either they just don't want something, or they don't have enough information to make the decision. And at this point, they just don't have enough information to make the decision yet. So these pollsters need to change their polls where they are including independent leaners, especially in states that are open primaries, or if they're doing a national poll, they need to wait for that because you have quite a few states that are the open primaries. And they also need to take a temperature map. Tell us a number. Okay, say Trump's at 51, DeSantis at 19. Well, how many of those Trump supporters are committed? I think you're going to find that half of them are not. And that's very dangerous for Trump because he's a fully known candidate. He has nowhere to go up. He's only got to go down from there. Okay,